Okay, friends, for this project inspired by our week of mythical creatures, we are going to do a dragon activity. And probably it's considered one of the most famous mythical creatures along with the unicorn. And they have existed in stories all over the world. People know dragons for thousands of years. And the word dragon first came about in the 13th century, that's around the 1200s, and it comes from the Latin word draconum, and that means huge serpent. But because dragons don't really exist, scientists believe that this idea of dragons came from ancient discoveries of dinosaur fossils, along with people's ongoing fear of snakes and reptiles. A lot of people get creeped out and especially snakes. I know for myself, I'm not the hugest fan of snakes. All right, so in Europe, we call Western culture. Eastern culture is more like where Asia, China, Japan. But in Europe, dragons are usually described as giant four-legged reptiles covered in scales that are able to breathe fire and fly with these bat-like wings. And here we see this man in armor with his sword in a big battle with a dragon. Pretty cool picture that I found. And then in Eastern culture, so like in China, and you might be familiar with this, when we did our Chinese New Year activity, we talked a little bit about dragons because they are represented as this kind of serpent or snake-like creature without wings. Most Chinese dragons do not have wings. And they are known to be very intelligent and can be either doing good or bad. They can do good things or bad things, and they can represent luck, power, and strength, but also they can be very greedy. And dragons also can be represented as sea serpents. If you even think of like the Loch Ness Monster that originated from Scotland. In Japan, dragons are also known as sea serpents or water gods that control rainfall and all different types of water bodies. So they can control water, which is very powerful. And they can be bringers of destruction, especially if they're water gods. They could, really cause lots of destruction with water, whether it be like a typhoon or something like that. And they believe in Japan that dragons were attracted to precious metals, such as gold, but could also be killed with metal. So if you had like a metal sword, you'd be able to kill a Japanese dragon. All right. Oh, another thing, I'm thinking about those of you who are fans of The Hobbit. If you've ever seen the destruction or desolation of Smaug. I know Smaug is the name of the dragon in the Hobbit movie. But he is awakened when a cup is stolen, or he has this big pile of treasure, and he gets disturbed. As you know, in folklore and legends, dragons are known to have these like big piles of treasure that they kind of hoard and keep to themselves. And if you steal from them, they get very, very angry. All right. So let's start our dragon activity. We're going to actually do a close-up of a dragon's eye. And if you want to do another type of mythological creature for this project, or a close-up of like a hybrid of like say a cat and a dragon, or a sea serpent's eye, that sounds good to me. Now, you might want to practice drawing your eye shape first. We're going to make it really, really large, but before we do so, I'm going to show you how to kind of practice the shape of a dragon's eye. And again, there's no right or wrong because we don't really know, they're mythical creatures, what dragon's eyes really look like. So you can do many different kind of versions of the shape if you'd like. So I'm thinking kind of a curved shape that goes down and then rises at the top, kind of like this giant wave, and then also comes to a point at the end. So that would make this a point, curve it around, and then up at the top like that. That looks pretty good. I'm going to start my new version. So you could do some kind of practices. If you want to do more of an eye that's just kind of an arch like this and this, that's perfectly cool too. Kind of this oval shape. And I'd like it to be like the size of my hand. I wanted a pretty good size because again, it's a close-up. So I'm going to go down and up. I'm going to curve it here. Zoop. Okay, now we're going to do my favorite part of the dragon's eye, and that is the pupil. So, for Smaug's eye, I'm going to do 2 curved lines at the top, then another version of curved lines, and then it's going to come curving down to a point, just like that. For this type of eye, like a cat's eye dragon, it's going to come down as an oval and a point at the bottom, just like that. To do Toothless's eye, looks like a curved shape here and here, and then kind of curves at the end like that. And then finally, you can do this kind of shape. It's kind of spiky flame shape for the center of your eye. So those are all kinds of examples. I think I'm going to go with the first one. It's kind of fierce. So I'm going to draw it pretty big. I'm going to go 2 curved lines, 2 curved lines again, kind of make them even. And then I'm going to curve to a point, just like that, okay? And then I'm going to draw a line that outlines the outside edge of my eye. I'm going to go really slow because I want to kind of keep that edge even as best I can. All right, now another thing you can do is add a layer of, let's look at this version here. These are kind of like bottom spikes. And I'm going to just do this kind of cool kind of flame shape. So I'm just making this zigzag line all the way at the bottom of my dragon's eye. Okay. And up here, kind of going to do the same thing. Now, I'm thinking of these spikes or horns at the top. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do kind of like shark fins. I can fit maybe one more here. And then a little one here. This is an ellipse shape, just to kind of make them a little more 3D, which is kind of that stretched out oval. I'm going to go around them, just like that. I'm going to do some little lines for shading, just like that on the edges too. Just so they pop out a little bit. Right. Now between that, you might want to fill, because again, we're talking about reptiles. Dragons are believed to be reptiles. You can do scales. Sure. I like just these kind of little rounded oval shapes that you can fill up on your page in your background. And I'm just kind of going around my eye with that same kind of similar shape. I'm going to do some larger ovals coming from the edge. If you want to stop just here and not do all the layers to the end, you totally can. You kind of fill it up to the point that you think your eye looks best. I think I'm just going to, I love doing patterns around it, so I think I'm going to fill my page with more of these kind of oval shapes. Then I'm going to do some straight lines coming down here. And then between that, I'm going to do these kind of triangle shapes. Or you can just go off the page like I am here. So, as you see, I just kept adding different layers of lines and patterns. You don't have to fill up your whole page if you just want to focus on the eye for this activity with the little spikes. That's cool too. It's totally up to you. Now, let's talk about some color. This part here in the pupil, you can color black or you can color red, any combination you want. I actually think, to make it a little more dramatic, I'm going to do a combo of black and red, and you can use crayons, color pencils, markers, and I'm going to do that now. Okay, I think this black and red combo I'm kind of liking. So now, kind of on this side of my eye, since I colored in these little flames or little patterns, spiky things, black, I'm going to use red to color this part kind of in between. And then I'm also going to color this outer part of my eye as well. And then I'm going to show you another one of my favorite parts of doing dragon's eyes, how to blend colors on the inside to make your eye really stand out and be more vibrant. So I blended at the top. I had some highlighters, some orange and yellow for the top there. Again, you could just color this outline black, whatever works best for you. Now let's focus on the center of our eye. Now you guys, you looked at the color wheel activities last week we did. You guys are color experts. What you want to do is since we're going to be blending multiple colors in the eye, we want to choose colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, because as we know, those are called analogous and they blend really nicely, like the warm color combinations, the cool color combinations, or you can do a mixture. You can go from a cool violet to a warm red, and that makes red violets. What you don't want to do is go across on the wheel, because when you do like yellow and purple or blue and orange or red and green, you remember they neutralize and turn gray. So this one has a warm colors, red, oranges, and yellow. If you're doing the toothless eye, he has a little bit of like yellows, yellow greens, greens, maybe even a little bit of blue greens. This is a cat's eye version that goes from blue to green to yellow. And I actually like this. I think I'm not going to do it with the warms. I think I'm going to do it with a cool color combination. And I have some crayons here for that. Crayons or color pencils, or even you can do markers. So for my cat's eye, I'm going to choose some yellows, some light blues, some greens, I wanted to maybe get some yellow greens as well. Okay, and then what we want to do is start blending some amazing colors. Maybe even a little red violet at the edge. We'll see. Or purple. Like that. Okay. So I want to start towards the pupil and work my way outwards. In this version, I'm starting with blue. So what I'm doing is just using my crayon and I'm blending in a sideways direction, coloring in a sideways direction. And I'm going to also do it on this side of my pupil as well. And the next color I want to blend is a blue-green. So I'm going to overlap with my green because blue and green make blue-green. So going right on top, and I can see the blue-green blending nicely into that. And then I'm going to move to yellow-green. And actually in this eye there's a little bit of orange on the edges. So I thought I was going to do purple, but I actually think I'm going to do orange and then blend back into yellow to transition. You can even do, I've had some students do a rainbow eye version. So you can go through all the colors of the rainbow within your eye, your dragon's eye. I think that looks really, really cool. Okay, so once you do your color blending inside your dragon's eye, the next step is to color layers around it. You can keep with the same color combination you did for inside your eye, or you can be totally different. If you had cool colors in your eye, you could do warm colors for the scale, opposite, rainbow scales, whatever works best for you. I'm thinking maybe to pop out my eye, this kind of flames in the background, I'm gonna color black on this layer black. So black is always an option too. Black always gives your picture a little more contrast. So I'm going to do that. Alright friends, yeah, that's pretty dramatic. I like that I added the black there. And then from there I could start coloring in my scales. Maybe my little spikes I would color, maybe make those, I don't know, should I make them red or should I make them blue? I'm thinking more, such difficult decisions. Let's go with more, oh this is a red violet. I actually want more of like a red. So I'm going to color these spikes like a deep red. Maybe blend some red orange into them. And then maybe my scales, traditionally, you know, if you're thinking of reptile, I can color it all green. That might be a nice contrast from all the other colors here. But I'm going to finish coloring my spikes. And then I'm going to show you, because I did another version, so you can see some other ideas. Okay, pretty cool. Or you can do, the spikes don't all have to be one color. Like this layer could all be green, this layer could all be yellow. No right or wrong. Again, it's gonna look awesome no matter what you choose. So this is one I did, as you see, I did warm colors and then I switched to cool colors. So I did the warm color spikes here, and then I did greens, blues, and purples for the rest of my spikes. So. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, we didn't do little highlights in your eye. You can do little highlights, which are just tiny little white dots. Forgot to add it in that version, but I still think it looks still looks awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this activity. Happy dragon making, happy Mythical Creatures Week. Miss you guys very much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.